Dave and Mecky. So I hope you have your tinfoil hat all made and cinched down tight over your ears. So take it away, Dave and Mecky.
Thank you, Nighthawk, and welcome to...
Dave?
That's the one.
Hey.
Well done, you. 10 points. And Mecky's Shiny Side Out on WZZI, coming to you from Australia for Revolution Radio on Revolution.radio. That's right, the land down under. You know, the crisis actor land that doesn't exist. It's falling off the edge of the world. You know it. We're all sitting in a bunker under the airport of Denver.
Woohoo!
That's true. It's true. Hey, it's home to fresh ideas, which is good. Ideas are good, unadulterated, maybe conversations in the chat room. In the chat room, we have Dave Ski, of course. Narara is the Julius Caesar Chivas Rodriguez Johnson. I love it. Julio Cesar Chivas Rodriguez Johnson. Welcome. That's awesome. 11 the streams. Oh, that's funny. 11 the streams. Mitchell Babo is there. That's just brilliant. Flippy Troll. Gotta love that handle as well. Anyway. Get in there if you can. It's always fun. And maybe today's topic might actually arouse your interest. This is show number 633, I think.
3 correct.
330 and 600. That's a lot of shows. We'll talk about that in a second as well. You can catch us on the air, on the line, and onto your smart device to grab it up to listen anywhere or listen at home on the greatest developed digital radio, if you like. Solaris is just before us, which is good for us. But you may have missed our show.
Oh.
You may never have listened to our show.
For shame.
That's something you can remedy. For shame. You can remedy that by, we'll talk about that in a second, how you can do that. But today she had Zoe B. Greystone, Miss B, as a guest, and they were just having a great old chat about pretty much anything. And if you don't know who Solaris is, then you should definitely remedy that as well. I keep saying every week, but maybe you haven't heard her before. She is a researcher, a producer, a publisher of her own documentaries. She is also a published writer. She has done a lot of research into, psychotronic fields of interest. If that is your bag, she is definitely someone that has both experience and has become an expert in it. Right? This is the kind of the artificial
both
ESP
actually
phenomena.
Mm.
Oh no, and she's also a practitioner, which might arouse your interest as well. She is also just a all-around great person to have a chat to. We had her on the show a couple of times, not for a while though. Maybe we can remedy that as well. We did want to have Zoe B. Grayson on the show also, but life being what it is, we just haven't got our act together, so it's entirely on us. In any event, go and listen to her show, because she's got many, not just the one here, but just go and find her. Solaris Blue Raven. Knock yourselves out. Archives are free. That's how you can remedy not having listened to her show just now. Listen to other shows. Listen to all the host shows if you want. It is, as I said, free. Before we start broadcasting at you in anger, which we will, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast, and for Dave,
the Dark and Young.
Thank you, sir. And for myself here, of course, the Dark People. It's been unseasonably warm today.
Oh, you wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be another one.
27, which is a summer temperature.
Yeah, well, it is, and it's now very much toward the end of autumn, in fact. And we would like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and future. Thank you very much, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Just before the show, Dave called me. I thought it was a joke, but why don't you?
It's definitely not.
Tell us. I mean, we'll talk about the feasibility of it, but just go ahead.
So, coming from people who work with and advise companies on technical aspects of every one of their blue sky dreams, I've got to say one thing. Our Prime Minister needs some help in that regard. I don't know who told him that he could say these words, but he was freeballing when he did this. He said, "I don't want memes of myself posted on social media and on the internet. I want them all removed." And I thought, well, okay, that's interesting. Good. I mean, it's a great idea to be able to ask, the nation to remove all of the memes. But this is 4 days ago, right? And I'm going to say a year ago, Pauline Hanson did an animated piece where he was launching the mis- and disinformation policy group. I don't know how you put it, like a department, with a bill that went through, and I believe it was passed. And a year ago, she did a little animated cartoon, which was really funny. And he was in this cartoon, according to Pauline Hanson. She's one of the other senators. He was asking a staffer, I'm glad we got the bill passed because, I want to be able to control what's on the internet. And voila, here we are a year later, and this is what the story is, right? Now, at the same 4 days ago, it began a week of Albo memes. Craig Kelly, he's another senator. He put up a video, which you can see on screen because I'm sharing the search, but it says the top 70 Albo memes of the day. The official results are in. Wow. Okay, so sure. Look, if personally, which it hasn't happened, but if there were memes of me or Meki and I, Shiny Side Out for that matter, or even our other brand, that's a Freudian slip. No, it's brand Plato's Cave. If Meki and I were being bombarded with memes or seeing ourselves in memes, I'd actually be happy. I don't care if they're positive or negative. I really don't care, because we know in advertising, any media is good media. It's getting your voice out there, even though it may not be yours and it may not be what you said. And here's the secondary component to what Albo, he's our Prime Minister, by the way, what he said. It's he said there's vision of me on the internet saying things that I didn't say. Now, granted, anyone can have that done to them these days. We know deep fakes are, well, they used to be a thing. Now it's simply you talk for 5 seconds and you can have an AI say anything. So you only need a 10-second grab of anyone in the media, and voila, you can make them say anything at all. And you can deep fake that onto anybody. It's just the technology we have. And so I don't think there's ever going to be a way of stopping it now. I think it's the genie's out of the bottle. It's gone. But Meki, what could you do?
Dave, I need you to download the internet and delete it. Also, once you've downloaded it, I want you to fax me a copy in 5 colors. Understood?
Sorry, yes, sir.
No, look, you're 100% correct. There's no such thing as bad advertising, right? That's what they say in Hollywood anyway. I know some of the memes are probably less flattering than others. I listened to another thing similar, where this deep fake video was circulating on a whole bunch of platforms about Dr. Karl, I think it was, giving health advice about buying some product. It wasn't Dr. Karl. He'd never endorsed the product. The only reason he found out about it is because people that had bought it on his say-so told him, "Hey, I never received my product." What happened?
What?
So it was a deep
I
fake.
have products now.
Yeah, you know, right? And it was uncanny. And a meme is a very mild form of that deep fake world we live in right now. Okay, meme is just literally, usually it's a picture, and then something stupid, okay, or something funny. That's a meme. And you know, if you can't handle it, as a politician, suck it up. It reminds me of the other guy that started blubbering about, oh, please, leave me alone, my family, blah blah blah. You go into politics, and let's make. I have no love for politicians at all. None. Zero. They're number 2 on my list when it comes to things that need to be at the bottom of the ocean, right after billionaires.
Yeah, Meki's not shy about that, and I'm sure that if you've listened to this show at all, you'll agree that that's true. Meki, isn't it par for the course? Wouldn't you, if you and I, no, I don't mean bottom of the ocean, I mean a meme, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right? So if you're in a meme of any kind, you should be firstly flattered that someone took the time and effort to make that joke, because it's going to be funny. It might not be funny to you, but certainly they're making a point, and maybe you should have your script writers write you text that can't be destroyed by a meme. Well, maybe think about the policies you're making.
That's that too. And memes have a very short life cycle.
They do.
I mean, they pop up. They do pop up once in a while, sure enough. But overall, within a few days, that sort of dies down pretty much. Having said that, I created my own meme recently, my very first.
Oh,
meme.
Congrats!
And you saw it. You saw it. I posted. And thank you for liking it. But it was just a bit of fun, right? And like I said, I mean, most politicians. I mean, back when George Bush Jr. was president, and then we all remember that, memes weren't really that big on the internet, such as it was.
But what do we have instead of the memes, Meki?
Oh, look, we had...
we had desk calendars.
Well, we did. Desk calendars, that's true.
Do you remember the desk calendar when you're at work? In the beginning of the year, you unwrapped the plastic and had 2 holes in a box of paper, like a chunk of solid, massive paper. You put it in, and every day you would turn up the new one and read a little quote at the bottom. It was delightful. It made my work just fly by. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah. I usually read it by the first week, but I loved it.
But I had the George Bush one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
And when it came up with my favourite quote, which I'll never ever forget in my entire life, that the French don't have a word for entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That had me laughing all day.
French eating certain monkeys. But look, and that's the thing. I mean, no one really talks about George Bush Jr. anymore. I mean, he was a screamer. He really was. But even if memes had things, I'm sure somebody's gonna put some memes out there now, I guess, after the show. But
sure.
But if you're a politician, my mom told me this many years ago. Look at them, she said. It doesn't matter what happens, if they're kissing a baby, if they're shaking someone's hand, if they're slipping on the stair, if they're getting egg in the face, right? If a whole bucket of horse manure is emptied over their head, they never stop smiling.
That's right.
They never stop smiling.
Or you can try to shake the hand of a dude who's been fighting the fires for 72 hours.
Forcibly grab a man's hand that doesn't want anything to do with you, and vigorously shake it. Never did he stop smiling. Not once. And that's what it is. That's what it takes to be a politician. I mean, look, some people can do it. A lot of people cannot.
Look, I'm not built for it.
Yeah, but ultimately,
if I'd known, though, Meki, my careers advisor at school had said, work 10 years, only 10 years, a sweet little 10 years, get a backbench somewhere, right? And that's all you've got to do, and you can retire for the rest of your life after 10 years. Why not?
But you know what okay, so this is actually serious, just for a second, sorry. This gentleman, Lerman, Baz Luhrmann, the Australian staffer. Yeah. So Baz Luhrmann was a Liberal staffer I have to give you a little bit of
I
background.
thought Baz Luhrmann was a producer. He made...
No, that's no, he's the director. That's
director,
right.
yeah.
That's director, but this is different Baz Luhrmann.
Oh.
I'm told.
Okay.
It's all good. So he's a
Lehman?
liberal staffer.
Yep.
He was accused of having raped a fellow staffer in Parliament House
Oh, that's right.
a couple of years ago, right?
Yes.
Now, these staffers, to be clear, they're looking for career in politics, or at the very least, a career in the bureaucracy, right? That's what they're looking for. So they work for liberal politicians, usually people in Parliament, any Parliament really. Liberal, Labour, doesn't really matter. And they do work and like a gopher kind of thing, sort of. But they get involved in policy discussions, and it's sort of like a traineeship. That's called a politician's traineeship. Politicians with traineeship, yeah? Let's call it that. Because that's pretty much what it is. Okay, so that's where we are. Now, this guy, okay, he went to court, or was taken to court. The court case was thrown out because of juror misconduct, no findings against him. Yeah. He was scot-free. Scot-free, right? At this point, it was no finding had been found that he had raped anyone. So he could have walked away. No.
That's not enough, Mickey.
That's not me. That's not the cut of my jib. So what he does in his wisdom, he goes and tries to sue a TV channel here that had an interview or some such. I can't remember.
That's right. Yes.
He goes to sue them because for defamation. Right.
Yep, that's
right.
So
he takes them to court, and then the court comes back with a 300-page judgment.
Cool.
Now his case is thrown out. No defamation, number one, right? That's probably the most important thing. No defamation. Okay, but, and this is the kicker. And in a second I will tell you why I tell you the story. This is the kicker. He is now found in the judge's eyes.
Yes.
It's not a trial for that crime, mind you, though. Okay.
No,
so
that's right.
He can't be tried for it.
That's a civil.
The judge says there's no doubt.
Civil crime. So sorry, a civil court, not a criminal court.
Correct.
Yeah.
But what the judge said was, in his mind, there's no doubt that he in fact did rape Miss Higgins. Mm-hmm. That's what the judge found. So it wasn't a judgment. So this wasn't the
that wasn't the purpose of the case. That's right.
Yeah, it was just, I guess, fallout. Now there's this guy, and apparently it came out that one of the TV or media corporations paid for his entertainment, adult entertainment as well as drugs, and that's how they got him to give them an interview, etc., etc. So it's his whole character after this failed defamation, it's like he might as well have taken just a nice little dip in a bucket of poo. There we go. Oh, this feels right.
I swear it's chocolate. Eat some then. No.
But and this is really I'm astounded. But see, the reason I'm telling you this is, so this is a person that saw themselves in high office at one point, right, in the future. He was aspiring to be a politician, maybe even sit in parliament, maybe be a minister, and that's the kind of character that we attract to that kind of job. That's why I told you this story. Okay, just to understand, people don't necessarily change when they become politicians. I think a lot of people go in like that. To illustrate, there are 3 people at large that go to war and come back. 3 people go to war and come back. Okay, 3 types. First type goes to war, comes back extremely damaged. I know I told you this before.
That's right.
They're so damaged, it's just horrible, right? That's a smaller proportion, but it can end in suicide and things like that. So it's a serious thing. Okay. The second type comes back also damaged, but they somehow manage to muddle through. That's a larger proportion of people, right? And the smallest proportion of people comes back thinking, "Where have you been all my life? War? I love it."
There's another one coming up, right? Surely?
Ah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one that goes, "Oh man, what a great thing. What a great thing war is."
So, Becky, right? So when you've got small children and you pick them up and you swing them around, you pivot upon your vertical axis, holding their hands. They're strung out sideways because they're so light in comparison to you. You barely even have to lie backwards, right? Lay backwards. and and you swing them round, and you're dizzy. You put them down, and they go again.
Yes, that's it.
That's
the
them.
one.
That's right.
That's them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so. I think people are drawn to certain things, right? So those are the kinds of guys that really love to be in war, and it turns out probably that they're psychopaths. They would have killed someone anyway at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But politicians, in my mind, are similar, because ultimately you look at what a politician does and how they do it, and the power and the privilege and the money, mind you. It draws a certain kind of person. And then you look at just what kind of things happen in politics. This is a global phenomenon. This is not Australia. And I want to say here, in my opinion, at least 80% of all politicians are corrupt or corruptible. Okay? At least 80%. That's my opinion.
One's kinetic and one's potential.
Yes, that's
science. Science.
Yeah, but I mean, this is some serious stuff, right?
Yeah.
You have to understand that. I mean, these are the people that make the rules, right? I mean, first of all, there's something wrong with you if you want to make rules for other people. That's for starters. There's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than coming to a common consensus or some such. No. It's
so that's kind of the dictator. If you had to hold 5 cards of skills like it's D&D.
Yeah.
Autocratic dictator is one of those cards. How much of the card you use is, how often you use it is a different thing.
That's your card.
Yeah.
you make the most of it. But
it's like it's one of the cards, the one that turns it round onto. Oh, that's just my decision now. So you don't get to do that anymore. So let's delete all the memes off the internet, Mackie. Let's just do that,
brother.
Right?
It's just look again. Just from a feasibility point of view. Okay, I say good luck. It does remind me of one thing. We're starting a new show cycle. I mean, it sort of fits here thematically. We're starting a new show cycle today, and it's going to be the Parasites show cycle that we shared with you. I'll tell you when. I'll tell you.
I'm not starting my car for about the next however many weeks it is.
This was show 479. So about 4 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 3.5 or so years ago, we did a show cycle the last time, and it's the full title of the show cycle is The Parasitic System, Fiat Currency, and Fractional Reserve Lending. Mm-hmm. And I've added in parentheses here, The Day Capitalism Died. And there's a site in there I used, XIT, which was a really great compilation of the history of banking.
Mm-hmm.
And just to check my notes and to see that it hadn't been updated, I went to the site, obviously, because I keep all references.
Did you?
The site is gone. The site is gone. What was it? Domain expired. So I went to the Wayback Machine. You can still find it there. So if you want to look for it, the Wayback Machine.
Thank goodness for that.
Oh, look, absolutely. But the site, and there was, look, we have the information, Dave, so it's not good, but there was, the information there is just, it was gold, and it still is gold. So you'll get to hear it over the course of the next few weeks.
When I was looking it up this week, because I looked up what I could find on fiat currency, fractional reserve lending, apart from what we've posted on YouTube, there was some comparisons, like fiat currency versus crypto.
Oh, yes.
So, thinking about the new landscape, or the newish landscape, or the landscape they're going to iron out entirely. That's the way. Did you know? Wait, just on that. There was my wife, God love her. She said to me, I heard on the ABC the other day when I was driving the car. She said there's a guy that's in support of the what's it called, the government's payment for universal income. It is, yeah, the universal income. So he's walking around Australia to raise awareness for the universal basic income because he's in support of it.
Yay!
Yeah, yay, yay. So I said, oh, wow, okay, cool. She goes, oh, you might want to talk about that on the show. And I said, well, yeah, that's really interesting. It's interesting that there's someone out there doing it. Now, when she said, before she said what the topic was, she said, I found out something you might be really interested in. And I heard might be really interested in doing. And here is this. Then she goes on to talk about the guy that's walking around Australia. He's on the Central Coast at the moment or something, walking, and he's going down to the Snowy Mountains. And he walked in one day the 90-mile beach. Oh yeah, good on you, right? And I'm thinking, I'm not doing that. That's all I was thinking. It's like, I'm not going to join him on his walk. You know, it's like Forrest Gump with all the people walking with him in the end, right?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. No. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, I just talk about it on the show. Yeah, okay. Cool. Phew. Because, you know, happy wife, right? So, I was thinking, now I've got to do what now? Wow. I'm not
These
sure.
shoes ain't made for walking.
I'm not sure I really support the universal basic income because I know what that means, and it means so much to digital currency deployment. You can't have any bank runs when you've got a digital currency because you just type in numbers in. Who cares anymore, right? Doesn't matter. What does it really matter?
And it's a massive scam. And like I said before, I don't think it's just going to be forced on us. It's going to be people asking for it.
We'll be begging for it, Mickey.
Yeah, the reason we are starting the show cycle again on the money system and the parasites, etc., is to highlight where we're going here. I mean, the truth is, since we last did this some 3.5 years ago, we've progressed quite significantly down that way. You know, with inflation going where it's going, and nobody really understanding why it's there, and all these these theories, economic theories flying around, and what this does and the other thing, and why are we in this situation? And as we explained before, inflation is getting worse because of the very policies that we're currently implementing.
Yeah,
it has to, because people are not buying more stuff.
Nope.
Okay, I just want to say this very quickly. They just have to pay more for the stuff that they need to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in fact,
I'd say they're buying less stuff overall.
Great. Absolutely. It's a question of will I pay rent or mortgage, or will I eat, or will I go out with my kids and have a day in the park or whatever.
I'll just have
and the answer
picnic. I'll walk there.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know what you called it. Was it Bill Roulette or something?
So you get a small round mat, or if you've got a round coffee table, it's really helpful. And you stand next to it with all the bills, and you throw them in the air, and whatever land on the table is what you pay this month.
That's what you pay. That's right. Oh, no electricity this month! Hurrah!
True story. It's one of my friends had to do that, and they wanted to make it fair. They didn't want to make it, like biased towards rent or one of the utilities in particular. But having cut down everything so much that they could still, make payment plans with these other ones if I can only pay this one off. Wow, it's such a hard thing.
Pay for, it's
they had 4 children. And then they couldn't rent anywhere because the rent went up. And they're going, but we've been here like 10 years. What do we do?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. We want to put the rent up. So good luck with that.
And what's happening is it's actually twofold, right? I mean, what you're doing, you're destroying, number one, all the renters. Then you're destroying people, the smaller investors that have maybe 2, maybe 3 or 4 properties. They're still paying off, by the way, and they're being pushed out of the market because the rents actually don't cover the mortgage increases.
No, that's right. So you're running red.
There's this. So and negative gearing, it doesn't save the day, I can tell you. So what you're left with are the larger rental corporations, which you have no chance against ever. The the big boys with their deep pockets. I want to see Rangers go up against those with the ombudsman. They didn't show up. What can we do? Nothing. What? No, there's nothing you can do. And that's the reality of it. And that's why it will become a boom when all of a sudden governments offer, hey, things are hard and we understand it, but what we can do, we can offer everybody a bit of a libation, a bit of succor and manna, so to speak, where you all get X amount of $1,000 a month, a living wage, enough to buy bread, and then off you go, and just be quiet while we take everything that you have, because it's just a headache for you, isn't it? Sure, of course it is, and that's what's going to happen, Dave. That's where we're going to go. In any event, it's a bleak prognosis, and it's sort of a little bit of 1984, a little bit of Brave New World is all sort of coming true. All these predictions in those novels. There are other novels, of course, that show you a dystopian future, and little by little we are making it a reality. Now, bear in mind, though, that the vast majority of the planet already lives in that dystopian reality where they don't have enough food to eat, not enough water to drink, and no medical care to speak of, no future, no present, and just a very, very bleak outlook on life. Ask yourself this. I know I've asked the question before, but ask yourself this question again. What could compel a person to blow themselves up? I mean, really, that's because that's pretty strong medicine, right? And you have to say, well, they have to be really desperate, right? I mean, it's really, because that's a tough ask.
Yeah, it is.
And yet there are so many people that are willing to sacrifice their lives to fight against what they've been told is the enemy, the great devil, the adversary, whatever. It doesn't really matter what you call it.
Well, the belief that your actions will make a difference is one of the motivators, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It really would have to be, because otherwise, if anyone asked me to do it, good luck with that. Not happening.
No, but if you remove all hope from these people's lives, and bear in mind that some of these people have been living without hope for 3 or 4 generations now, right? Mm-hmm. So that's not good. I'm not making excuses for people. I'm just telling you what it is, and it's not a good thing. And just since I'm on it, what's happening in Gaza right now, it just might end the Hamas problem for Israel. It just might, right? It has created another million problems for the world, including Israel. Yeah. 35,000 civilians have now, 35,000 Palestinians have now been killed. 35,000.
They've been unlived, Mackie.
Yeah. And each one of those lives touched 4, 5, 10 other lives. Oh, yeah,
totally. Mm-hmm.
And maybe more. And people that never thought of becoming radicalized, meaning, of course, that are taking violent action, are being pushed into that life. Because let's say you survive all of this. It's not over yet. And I've seen now pictures of Gaza from the air, and the Germans are doing a good job of showing it. I thought to myself, it's just rubble. It literally is just rubble, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what would you go back? There's nothing to go back to.
And where are you going to put the rubble?
There's nothing. Yeah.
Where are you going to put it? Yes, when when towns are destroyed by tornadoes, everyone cleans up. You put it somewhere. Their land mass isn't big enough to store all that concrete and rebar. Where are you going to put it?
Yeah.
I suppose if you had a machine really, really big, you could roll it over the top of everything and then just pour concrete on the whole lot and start from there. Because people build on old towns, I suppose, right? But the extent of the damage, Meki, is what it does me in. There's nothing to go. There's nothing to go back to. There's no services, no amenities. There's no shops. There's no schools. There's no windows because they're old. No, you don't have windows anymore. Oh, okay.
But look, that was the plan all along. The plan was that Gaza is no longer habitable for by Palestinians. It just isn't. So what do you do with it? Well, I don't really care. Go somewhere else, whatever, as long as you're not there. And the Rafah offensive, I think it's Rafah, hasn't happened yet. But they are talking about it now. It's gone completely out of the news cycle, pretty much, because now we've seen videos of Israeli hostages again alive, etc. And then there's the Iran-Israel exchange.
The wet sock. Yeah.
It's interesting. It really is very interesting. It's,
I don't want to be. I'm not really being rude when I say wet sock. It's just my disappointment because I feel like I'm a spectator watching a soccer match. That 1 minute from full time, it's still 0-all. I had to wait 2 hours to get to that. You can't. There's no one to cheer on. There's nothing happening, and I'm being facetious here, right? I hope you know that, right? I'm not being serious. It's not like there's.
But then it's a zero-sum game.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah. Even if there was a winner, it's still everyone loses.
Oh no! It's already a massive disaster. It's going to get worse.
And no one's talking about
Yemen.
Stop.
Well, nobody's talking about Yemen. That's Yemen. Who? That's where they got coffee, right? Coffee comes from Yemen.
Oh, that's cool.
But nobody cares. And we spoke about this some time ago. Everybody says all lives are equal. That's not true. That is patently not true. All lives are not equal. If you are not a citizen, ideally a white citizen of a first world nation, then your life is not worth as much as a citizen of a first world nation. It just isn't. It just isn't. And we saw this. Okay, 30,000 at this point, 30,000 Palestinians had been killed in Gaza, and 1,500 or so Israelis as well, right? At that point. And then 6 or 7 aid workers, Americans, Australians, others, were killed by Israel in what the Israelis called a terrible mistake, whatever. And the coverage, those 6 or 7, I can't remember, I think it was 6, those lives was massive. The media was blanketed. It changed U.S. policy. It changed U.S. rhetoric. It sparked, in my mind, the student protests as well in America now, right? So it's clear. The equation here is, okay, you got 1,500 Israeli lives equals 30,000 or 35,000 plus and counting Palestinian lives equals six aid workers from several first world nations. That's the equation right now.
Wow, if only that was used to calculate my wages.
6 equals 1,500 equals 35,000 plus and rising. That's where we are, Dave. Yeah, it'd be nice if an accountant like that existed to calculate our wages.
I can look up the yellow pages already, yeah.
And you know what? Yemen is not even in that table.
Gear Jammer just posted something, Mickey.
The Sudan. The 3 million children that starve every year.
Yeah,
where are they on that table?
No one cares. That's right.
Oh, no one on the table. Nothing on the table. Nothing.
Oh, there'll be a handful of people that donate money for stuff, right? But right now, all of that money is drying up because no one has any money. No one has any. The whole world's climate, economic climate, is so bleak that if it was a weather forecast, the map would just be, well, they just turn the map off. We don't need the map anymore. It's just bad everywhere. Don't worry about it. Probably stay safe. Do what you can. You know, that's all you got. That's all we're advising. You know all the warnings. Just be safe, right? Try and look after yourselves. Do you remember, what do you do when you're in a plane and the oxygen drops? Put the oxygen on yourself first. Not on your children first. Because once you're looked after, you can look after your children. And the elderly, for that matter. And this is what annoys me. It really does annoy me. That all of the things that are currently going on around the world. Oh, remember that ship that ran into the bridge we don't hear any more about? Well, almost a year to the day, there was another ship that ran into another bridge who had a power failure. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
No. Yeah, almost to the day. And the ownership was the same. And at the time when it occurred, the news stories were, no, I'm not going to say 50-50. There was some voices there at the time that were suspecting foul play. Exactly the same as this one.
How about that?
So, just thinking aloud, I suppose, is all of this orchestrated? I'm going to ask the question. It's a good question. It's a fair question. I don't want to hear the answer being yes. I just don't. Because we're in bigger trouble if that's the case, which they'd never admit to anyway. Just like the WEF, Mekki, and the WHO and the IMF, with all their policies and especially the WHO's emergency policy that they've put to all the countries that have signed it now, and they get to dictate when and how we're locked down. That's crazy. Outsourcing that, because that's what governments do. This whole hour is all about the governments, right? So the governments of the world have outsourced their intelligence to the point where I think they would just, well, the WHO were just telling us it's a tear off. Here's the advice, just came through from the WHO. Can you distribute that to all of the news agencies? And that's what we're going to do. Okay, the WEF's plan for, I suppose, the stakeholder economy, which is just the billionaires and all the biggest companies in the world, they get to dictate over us as the new governance. It is a crazy place that we're going headlong into, and all of this stuff around the sides just keeps us talking about local topics. That's all it does. What's your thoughts on that, Mekki? Isn't it crazy? That is threw a grenade over the fence.
Okay. No. I'm not gonna rant away here. Suffice it to say that we're running out of time to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because these things are happening faster and faster. Okay, if you had been living in Gaza, the life wouldn't have been great, but it went from okay to terrible very, very quickly. Ukraine, it went from pretty okay to terrible very quickly. And anywhere else where these things are happening, these harbingers, are they false flags? Are they deliberate acts for insurance money? Is there? I mean, the fundamental problem that we have, and this is really going to be the final analysis really for the short cycle as well, is that greed and never-ending profits are running the world. That's it. That's the only thing important these days is just more. Just more. I want more. And all of our problems you can take down to more. It's actually insane, Dave. It's an insane mindset. It's an insane attitude to have. And again, we'll go into that in a lot of detail as well, because it's just not right. Why are we so stuck? I know why, but why are we rebelling more against being stuck in such a world where, profit and greed is the most important thing. I spent a lot of time recently looking at tech, especially tech that just disappeared from view, right?
Mm-hmm.
0-point energy,
yep.
Clean energy, all kinds of anti-gravity research, all that stuff, right? And it looks like it's all real.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because all the people that researched it, all the people that looked at it, we talked about in the past, they've all pretty much either been killed or bought off. But their research went nowhere. Not because they didn't want to go nowhere.
Publicly nowhere.
But rather because, publicly, of course. And so you can rest assured that the people that are in the know are, in fact, enjoying these kinds of technologies.
Well, anti-gravity is the big argument against anti-gravity, for that matter. We talked about Ning immediately. Once proving they could reduce the mass of something, which they did successfully, was vacuumed up by the military. Couldn't talk about it again.
Yeah, and scientists, mainstream scientists, and remember, these are people looking to be paid as well. Like, they're looking for tenure, they're looking to be funded for the research. They say, "Oh, this is all completely impossible." The science. If there's one thing that we know in science, is that what is certain today is going to be wrong tomorrow. That's right. One thing.
Yep.
We can say with certainty. And I can tell you right now, I reckon there are absolutely, right now, people enjoying technology that is 300, 400, 500 years ahead of us.
Oh, yeah,
and 100%. We could be living, in fact, in a world that was post-scarcity, free energy.
Yep.
I mean, but the reason we're not, and this is really important, is because of the greed, the corruption, and the insanity of a few. The system that was created, that we're living under now, is so successful at polarizing and dividing us that they don't have to do a lot for it to maintain it. They don't have to do a lot. It is really very much a matter of, well, let it run. We have got people out there, they know what they need to know. Right, they're handpicked to remove problems should they arise. Problems come along, we'll just get rid of them, and they'll be getting rid of under state security, or national security, or for the good of the planet, or for the good of for the good of democracy. There you go, for the good of freedom. You're an enemy of freedom. You're French eating surrender monkey. Freedom fries. But that's where we are, and this is the truth. And there's nothing anybody seems to be doing against it, because people can't see it. You know how you can't see the forest for the trees?
Yeah.
I think that's where we are. There's so much going on. People don't see the underlying fundamental issues.
Well, remember, each of the trees that surround us, so we can't see the forest, and they're all the local problems. The media is only giving us these little things, little distractions here and there. We don't see it, well, you and I see it, and there's a lot of people that see it, the big picture. But there's very few that see the big picture, or at least very few that are willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
Head in the sand.
And well, look, but it's easier, Dave. The thing is this, right? If you're living your life, you have a job, you have a family, you have a house, maybe you're doing okay.
You with the job,
what is your but what is your motivation?
Yeah, that's right.
Why would you?
Your motivation is to keep pedaling and keep that existence running. If anything threatens those things, you could just be head down, just going to keep going. I told my friends, look, do you want to be on a group that if I ever discover, see an inbound, it could be a meteor, for instance, just saying, scream through the sky and land in the ocean somewhere in the Pacific. If there's a smoke trail that would suggest that occurring, as you might have seen in all sci-fi, do you want to be on the list where I text message, high ground? That's the code word. High ground means get to high ground. It's pretty simple. And they go, why would I do that? Why would I want to know? No, to live.
Just well, to exist, I guess at that point to survive.
Yeah.
Living, not really, right? Would it be living? I don't know.
That's the question. Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe in serendipity, and something was just posted on Facebook. I want to share with you. And this is interesting. It's just a very quick. Yeah, we can do it before the break. 5 monkeys were placed in a cage as part of an experiment. In the middle of the cage was a ladder with bananas on the top rung. Every time a monkey tried to climb the ladder to get the bananas, to eat them, the experimenter sprayed all of the monkeys with icy water. Mm-hmm. Eventually, each time a monkey started to climb the ladder, the other ones would pull him off and beat him up so they could avoid the icy spray. Soon, no monkey dared to go up the ladder. The experimenter then substituted one of the monkeys in the cage with a new monkey. The first thing the new monkey did was to try to climb the ladder to reach the bananas. After several beatings, the new monkey learned the social norm. He never knew why the other monkeys wouldn't let him go for the bananas, because he had never been sprayed with ice water, but he quickly learned that his behavior would not be tolerated by the other monkeys. One by one, each of the monkeys, the original monkeys in the cage, were substituted for a new monkey, until none of the original group remained. So none of the monkeys in the cage now have ever been sprayed with icy water. Every time a new monkey went up the ladder, the rest of the group pulled him off, even those who had never been sprayed with icy water. By the end of the experiment, the 5 monkeys in the cage had learned to follow the rule: don't go for the bananas, without any of them knowing the reason why. If we could have asked the monkeys for the rationale behind letting their cage mates climb the ladder, the answer would probably have been, I don't know, that's just how it's always been. And that's where we are.
Yeah.
We've just accepted the shop, sleep, eat cycle. Is that what it is?
That's
as life.
Home shop work. Yeah.
Home shop work. Yeah. Is that it? That's it? I mean, what's the point of life then, if that's it? Because I guarantee you, the people that are parasitically living off you are not just existing; they are living. They are living, and they're living large. And they can only do that if you don't do that. You see, for them to have everything, you must have less. This, in their mind, is a zero-sum game. For them to win, you must lose. We can't both win. It's not possible. We can't both be winning. It doesn't compute. So if anybody wins, it should be me, not you. Therefore, I am on top and you are not. And I will use you to my best advantage, and you will thank me for it. And that's exactly where we are. When people that your bosses tell you should be grateful you have a job. In this economy, in this world, that's true.
Yeah.
But this is not the world economy, or this is not the world we should be living in the first place. Right? People say it's the best of all possible worlds. There's this beautiful meme I saw. This was of ancient Aztecs, right?
Yeah.
And there's this temple. There was like this fire burning, and on top of the pyramid, they're just ripping hearts out of people, right? And in the crowd, there was looking at this whole spectacle, like people being sacrificed, having their hearts ripped out, with the fire burning in the background and all that. One guy says to you, "Look, it might not be a perfect system, but it's the best one we have," and it works.
There you
go. You can say that about anything. Nazi Germany was the same. Look, the system isn't perfect, but it's the best we have. March along, George. March along.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is, because no one stops, and a lot of us take a lot of pride and they derive a lot of power from following the rules or what they think are the rules, and then enforcing those rules, even if no one asked them to. Dave, no one.
You're absolutely right. Guess what? This is the end of the first hour of Dave Mecky's Shiny Side Out. Coming back after the break, there'll be a new YouTube, and we're going to be talking about the parasitic system, fiat currency, and fractional reserve. Ooh, exciting times ahead. So take a small break. We'll catch you on the other side of the advertisements.